Hello, this is Brian with the sixth episode of My Lumbar Log. The roller coaster ride of my surgery scheduling has continued. I got a phone call this morning, just a little bit ago, that was from Dr. Sales's office, and I have to tell you, I'm kind of getting nervous to even answer those calls at this point. But Cindy, the scheduler, said, I have some news about your surgery, but that at this time it is news that we think is good news. So, turns out that the hospital at St. Vincent's Hospital here in the Portland area has given Dr. Sales 2 slots to have surgeries this week. And I get one of those slots. So my surgery has been moved up to this Friday. That is 4 days from now. And it's really good news. Dr. Sales just feels more comfortable having my surgery in a hospital environment, as do I. And I think my family does as well. So that is definitely good news. The plan is still for me to come home that same day, but it means in a hospital environment that we'll just take things as they come, and I will be able to recover and meet the benchmarks for leaving at my pace rather than having to have an artificial deadline of when the surgery center closes for the day. So in order to come home, I'll have to be able to stand, have to be able to walk, have to be able to eat, and have to be able to use the restroom. And so once those things happen, then I get to come home, and the plan is for that to be the same day. That obviously accelerates things as far as preparation for the surgery. I'll have to get a COVID test either today or tomorrow, and there's a drive-through option for that, so we'll get that taken care of soon. And on top of that, start the Hibiclens bathing routine. Hibiclens is a special antibacterial soap, so I'll start using that. I think today. I have to look back at the paperwork, but anyway, you use that every shower for a few days before, and then on the night before the surgery, you do a super dose of it, and then sleep in clean pajamas on clean sheets that night, so that it reduces as much possibility as possible for bringing any kind of infection into or bacteria or anything into the surgery environment. So, exciting news with that. I've been teasing that I have a couple of things planned for you, so I'm going to jump into one of those that is really important to me, and that is talking just a little bit about floating and how impactful floating has been for me in dealing with 20 some odd years of, even more than that, of constant back pain. And in the last few years since I've discovered it, how much it has really changed how I deal with my back pain and with life in general. So I'm not going to go into huge amounts of detail. I'll point you over to my website, which is called Love the Float. I have been so dramatically impacted by this that I've started a website that talks a lot about floating, and particularly how it has impacted my life. But in general terms, floating, you might have seen something about it in the media or on TV, but it is floating in supersaturated salt water. It's water that is saturated with medical grade Epsom salts that allows you to float completely effortlessly. It's as near to a weightless environment as anything on Earth, and it is much more dense than even the Dead Sea. And that is a big part of why I think it's so magical for me, and why it might be for others who are suffering from back ailments, is that it just supports you like on a cloud. And it's so relieving to have those pressures of gravity taken away from you, so that for 60 or 90 minutes you can kind of be in weightless bliss. There are different types of vessels, but the thing that is the same in all of them is that you're in about 11 or 12 inches of water that's saturated with 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 pounds of medical grade Epsom salts. So, it has all of the benefits that Epsom salt baths would give you in your own bathtub, but in a very controlled environment. The solution and the air in your environment are both tuned to your skin. So it is not like getting into a hot tub. It is like getting into a bath that is perfectly the same temperature as your skin. So is the air. And so when you settle into that environment, you lose complete consciousness of what parts of your body are in the solution and what parts are in the air, and you just are floating without all those pressures of gravity pushing down on you. And there are different types of vessels. There are pods, there are cabins, there are open float pools that are really like an oversized bathtub where the entire room is a float tank. And that allows for folks that have mobility issues or claustrophobia issues to float in a different environment that might be more helpful for them. But the thing that is the same about all of them is that you have the option of being in complete darkness and complete silence for that time. If that's uncomfortable, then many of the tanks have things like starlights or an underwater tank light that you can leave on. You can leave a door cracked or have music during your float. Sometimes even guided meditation is an option. So there are options that will make it fit for you. But that time just with yourself and with your body for that period in weightlessness, in comfort. My very first float, I had a few moments of pain-free experience that was so dramatic for me that I didn't even recognize what it was at first, because I had not experienced that in decades. And it really wasn't until it had been happening for a few minutes that I started to realize, wait, what I'm feeling is the absence of feeling. It isn't that it's changed this way or that way, or it's actually that I'm not feeling it, which was just a phenomenal experience for me that led me on this path. So if you want to know more about that, jump over to the Love the Float website, or if you're seeing this from my blog that's contained within the Love the Float website, go out to the greater site. I am keeping the My Lumbar Log and the Love the Float thing separate because they might be different audiences, but this is a great chance to go learn more about something that might be really helpful for you. And I love talking about this stuff, so if you have questions, shoot them my way, and I'd be happy to help maybe find something that could be really beneficial to you. So that's it for this episode, and I will update you over the next couple days, and maybe we'll figure out a way for either me or Michelle, my wife, to update you on actual surgery day. And as soon as I'm able, once I'm home or someplace else where I can record comfortably, I'll give you an update from there as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.